Hey, hey, hey. Time for another out of this world story from our space. The only way to overcome infidelity is to truly rededicate your life to you. Today on our space, we navigate safely out of some stormy seas. Our first OP learns that it was never just a friend. Light at the end of the tunnel after infidelity. Longtime lurker, first-time poster. My story. I, 29 male, dated my ex, 28 female, for 3.5 years. It ended roughly 1 year ago. The relationship. Fairly typical relationship. Hard to speak positively about it today, which began to get more toxic and difficult as COVID began, 2-ish years into the relationship. Eventually, she broke up with me in June of 2021, right before summer and her birthday. Wow, coincidence? Looking back, she liked to drink and party too much for a balanced person. This is where most of her issues resided, and ultimately, it is my belief that she left me to return to a party lifestyle. Unique to many stories in this forum, we didn't go our separate ways due to cheating. I found out later that she was cheating on various occasions. On vacations, at the bar, various ways. With, he's just a friend. I never get the closure of her admitting anything or any real specifics other than enough detail from mutual friends and social media to know it happened more than once or twice. Admittedly, this killed me inside, and finding out after we had already split brought on a second wave of grief and pain. After we broke up, I went no contact immediately. She didn't reach out for over 5 months. In the initial stages of this, I was not doing well, very depressed, barely keeping my career intact. Eventually, I started to glow again, took on challenges that I never had, started competing in boxing, lifting weights, grew a beard, and was visibly in better shape. I started to not care if she reached out. This is when she did. Called me late one night after her ex, whom she monkey branched to after our relationship ended. Meet her unconscious one night. She called me for a shoulder to cry on. At this point, I did help her. I gave her information for a woman's shelter and abuse hotlines, etc. I did not meet her or allow her access to me at all. Kept it short and ended the call. A few short weeks later, she showed up at my door, dressed like she was ready for a first date and wanted to try again. I didn't even open the front door. She didn't deserve even a short conversation. Moral of the story to everyone struggling: no matter how brokey you are, you must work on yourself. Nobody's going to pick you up, and the only revenge for your ex's actions is to love yourself. One day they might knock at your door, but the goal is not to wait for that day, but to instead be the person they wish they could have. There is power in denying them. There is power in showing them that you are not what they thought you were, and their chance is gone. I have since done well in my dating life, perhaps better than I did in my early 20s, and with the experience from my ex, I have identified red flags and potential partners that I previously wouldn't have. I get something from all that pain, so wisdom. Keep your heads out, people, because if you are here and survived infidelity, you are already winning, as you would never do that to someone else, and that makes you a solid person. Your ex will be this way forever, and their next partner is just a filler until they do the same again. Healthy relationships aren't built in the shadow of another relationship. I never thought I would make it here, and I wanted to share, as I know how close to the edge I was a short 12 months ago. Our first reaction comes from Joel's World. Dude, you're right. Before I met my ex, I told myself, everyone talks about finding the perfect one. No one talks about being the perfect one. Work on being the perfect one. And I had my issues, and she claimed those issues led her to cheat. Okay, so I'll work on them. Continue my career and be someone else's perfect one. Focus on me, not what I lost. And maybe one day someone else will see what they lost. Next comment from Silver's Cloud. That is awesome. How are you able to even start glowing? I don't think I can make it at times. The OP replies, it doesn't matter in one day or 1 month, but it happens because you make an effort every day and every month. Put yourself out there. Find ways to meet people. Expand your circle. Do things you've always wanted. Don't be confined by your comfort zone. My biggest progress came from my scariest leaps and decisions. Fighting competitively in boxing for the first time, for example. I was so consumed with preparing for this fight, nothing else mattered. Not my ex, not my previous pain. Nothing. Administrative ad 3880 says, it never ceases to amaze how cheaters circle back around. So you cheated, lied, belittled, gaslighted, and stole from me. And you're here to offer me more of all of that? Yes, please. The OP replies, my ex specifically has a mind-boggling level of entitlement. Exactly as you say. Did plenty screwed up things that this post didn't summarize and expected me to welcome her back after several months of silence. As if I was just sitting around waiting for her return. That's why I stress the part about standing strong if they come back. It's disrespectful to yourself to accept them back on their timeline, or really even at all. They show their cards. Show them the effing door. You're absolutely right, OP. Yes, you can survive, even thrive after an affair. The pain that is created by the betrayal is nearly unbearable, and much healing is needed afterward, whether you stay in the relationship or not. Getting betrayed is like someone grabbing your heart so tightly it can't beat anymore. You can feel it in both your mind and body. It can even hurt worse than physical pain because it is that powerful. Infidelity is so prevalent in our society that we have to talk about it. We have to figure out why it hurts so bad and why it's so hard to forgive someone after they've betrayed us. And especially if it's best to grow through the healing together or apart. It's a lot of work, but we come out of it stronger and wiser. Tell us some of your survival stories below. Show us your scars. Meanwhile, up next, the one that got away should have stayed away. He cheated with the one that got away. Turned out, the one that got away had chlamydia. Now, I'm not going to judge if you have an STD. I don't know your circumstances or how you got it, and that's none of my business. What I will judge you for is not getting tested after every new partner, because that's just bad sexual health. Basically, he asked me for a break, ensured it wasn't because he was looking elsewhere, then cheated not even a week into it, then called me to tell me just before the break ended. I was under the impression it was because he needed time and space to get his mental health in check and really dig deep and contemplate the root of his personal issues. And boy, was I wrong. I felt sick when he told me. I felt sick that I was excited to hear his voice just 5 minutes earlier. I felt sick that I laughed because I thought he was joking. I felt sick that I could trust someone so much to the point that I really believed for even a second that he would never do that. That he would tell me if he wanted to be with someone else. Sick that not only did he lie to me, but he really convinced me that he wasn't wanting to sleep with someone else. And I really wouldn't have been mad if he was upfront about his feelings. I had my experiences and he was unhappy with his lack of experience. Obviously, I'd have had boundaries, but just the normal, no strings attached, I want to know who they are, ones. If he wanted more, I genuinely wouldn't have been upset if only he'd just told me the truth. If only, though. Instead, he took her out on dates, stayed with her for a few days, been more intimate with her in the last 3 days than he had with me in 2 weeks, and was genuinely hoping to be able to see her more. I think the only reason he told me was because he was scared of what she might say to me or do to him. I think he wanted both of us at the same time, but she was hoping he'd choose her. He didn't. I tried to make it work because I loved him, but the more time I spent talking to him and being around him, the more I started to hate him. Hearing his voice, seeing his face, seeing that smile, it just made me sick and angry. When I was going to his phone and saw the pictures of them, it was like waterfalls were coming out of my tear ducts. I covered my mouth, and it may have looked like I was trying to stifle my scream, but I was so disgusted by what I saw that I threw up and had to cover my mouth. All of this isn't even the end of that story, but I just had to get that out. I can't really talk to anyone else about this. Our first reaction comes from Life Yogurt Closet 98. This right here. You have a partner who is open to let you experience new things. They trust you and want trust in return. This is the most uncheatable situation, right? Cheating is not sex. Cheating is disloyalty. Who the F goes out of their way to break rules when this person has been so kind and understanding? What in the flying hell is wrong with this world? I'm sorry, this just really kind of hit close to home, and I want you to know you're effing awesome. That douche was an idiot, and his actions do not reflect on you or your actions in any way. You were trusting and accommodating, and he didn't deserve you. Hang in there, OP. The next comment from Jinboy32. I hope you've left him. The OP replies, I did. When I broke up with him, he started crying. Like, bruh, why are you crying? I should be the one crying right now. No Idea 19 chimes in. He asked for a break, said he wasn't looking to cheat. That's the only reason people ask for the break. Honestly, OP, I think breaks are BS unless there's complete and total transparency. If you're having second thoughts about being with someone, or if you're having an urge to find yourself, then the honest thing to do is to break up with that person. People think that being on a break is an excuse to do whatever the hell they want, but it's not. There's still strings attached. I'm so sorry you had to go through this and feel all the feels. It's totally natural to have those initial feelings and to try to make it work. I think in those moments of trying to make it work, sometimes we cling to what we hoped they would be, the best version of them, but oftentimes that version doesn't exist. What are some of your experiences with the ones who got away? We're moving on. where our last OP has been kicked down. Let's help him back up. My girlfriend cheated on me from day one of our relationship. So I, 22 male, was in a relationship for a year and 3 months with my girlfriend, 19 female. I don't remember how I found out about the first incident, 3 days before I broke up with her. I just remember I was chatting with my friend about my girlfriend's friend, and he told me that a friend was actually her ex, which I didn't know up until that point. So that got me into thinking, and I somehow found out that she went out with him 3 weeks before the breakup, and that he kissed her, or so that's what she told me. So from there, I started having major trust issues with her, so I just kept pressuring her into telling me about every lie she told throughout the relationship. One thing led to another, and I found out she slept with another ex right at the beginning of her relationship, legit second day after we hooked up. She told me it was only twice, but I wasn't buying it. So now with this whole thing in mind, I went home and I started to think how to get the whole truth out of her and how to do it fast. I was just sick to the stomach and wanted her to be gone from my life. On the day of the breakup, I came to her house and hugged her like there was nothing wrong. Sat with her and asked her out of the blue, "What else did you lie to me about?" She just said, "Nothing, I told you everything." I didn't believe her. So after a bit of back and forth, I hit her with, "Do you still love your ex?" And she went blank for a solid 3 seconds, smiled slightly, and said no. After that, my heart just dropped. I asked her to call her ex and tell him. He knows everything. He just wants to hear it from you. After a bit of back and forth, she finally calls him. He picks up, and she just goes, "Nope, I ain't telling him that." So I just got up and snatched the phone and told him I have nothing against him. I just don't want her to F with me. I asked if he could please tell me if they slept with each other more than 5 times since we began our relationship. She said it was only a 2-time thing, to which he responded, yes, a lot more than that. After she heard that, she got up, started screaming, hitting me, and asking me for her phone back, but I already knew the truth, so I just gave her the phone and asked her to tell me how many times. First she said once a month, then she said 2 to 3 times a month, and then finally admitted 3 to 4 a week. I just don't know what to say or do or anything. It's the second day since we broke up, and I just don't know what I did wrong. I mean, I gave 100% of myself to her and truly loved her and everything. I have no clue why she would do such a thing. My brain is just getting squashed by all this. I just don't know. Our first opinion comes from Life Yogurt Closet 98. She was a young manipulator who's used to the effort men put in, allowing her to not have to put in effort herself. Be strong. Don't hate the fact you gave 100%, and just always give 100%. Elizabeth Prom chimes in next. You know, I see a lot of people asking this, why they do this or that. So many people say that they have problems and issues, and I agreed. Sometimes can be that, but I also believe people can be naturally bad. Some people don't have issues. They're just bad people. I'm sorry this happened to you, and remember that it gets better. Our next opinion from 907 Borotide. Hello, young people. Stop getting into relationships. Be young and date. Focus on you for the next 2 to 3 years, not in a relationship. You'll be better off. A lot more happy with yourself. And really, it'll give you more time to find the possibility of the one, not the okay for now. Decorum 1 has some questions. Why would you think you did anything wrong? Do you really think she deserved to be up on that pedestal you put her on? Do you really think a woman will be loyal and in love with you because of how much you love her? Think about it. She is stuck on her ex, acting like a booty call, and he isn't courting her, spending money on her, doting on her. You never had her in art. You were just a placeholder for her. Someone to cuddle with, have dates with, be spoiled by, but she gave this guy more sex than she gave you. Can he connect the dots? You need to rethink how you understand that relationships work. I'm not saying she's a bad person, just par for the course. Pity her next boyfriend. He will get the same treatment. OP, you did nothing wrong and you didn't deserve to be treated like this. This isn't your fault at all. You gave her a lot of your time, and it's unfortunate she abused it in such a way. Please try not to let this turn you off to love, and please try not to take it personally or as a slight on you at all. This does not at all represent you or your value. True love and respect is possible, and it is out there. Take this time to ask yourself what you expect out of a relationship and what you want out of a relationship. Take time to really get to know yourself and who you are. 2 things that you've always wanted to do and have been putting off. Try new things. Things will get better. I promise. Until then, it's okay to hurt for as long as you need. Tell us how you got over your worst breakup in the comments below. And thanks for joining us today on Our Space. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Also, please let us know what you thought of today's content in the comments below. Until next time.